I'm going to be honest. I don't know what I'm doing. But I guess I'll make it up as I go. Cue the intro. Alright folks, we're going to talk about Jacob Blake, who was shot 7 times by police in Kenosha, Wisconsin on Sunday, August 23rd. Now, I caught this video on my Facebook feed, and one of the comments was what caught my eye, and it's something I replied to, but before we continue, I'll show you the comment. But here's one thing. I blacked out the face, I blacked out the name. And there's something we need to understand about individuals who have passionate things to say. And that is attacking them. This cancel culture thing that we have is not making the world a better place. Okay? Destroying somebody's livelihood, sometimes I'm like, yes! Destroy it all, man. Scorched earth. But that doesn't help anybody. Things don't get better because we scorched earth an individual's career. The only way for progress to happen is if we educate these individuals. And even if we try to educate them and they don't respond, ends up not being about them. Like, it's great. It's great if we tell somebody, hey, listen, you have an ignorant ideology. We need to work on it. And they say, you know what? You're right. I am going to work on it. I'm going to do things better. I'm going to move forward. And that's awesome. We made the world a better place. But there will always be individuals that will not respond well to our attempts to educate them. And there's nothing we can do about that. But in those instances, it's not about them. What it is about is us keeping our integrity, right? Us still being the better person in these situations. Because progress isn't going to happen if we compromise ourselves to the animal in us. Okay, enough of that. Here's the comment. So-and-so said, what should the police do when a person refuses to comply with orders and is diving into their vehicle to quite possibly grab a weapon? What should the police do? Why is this never a story? Yet another person puts themselves in harm's way but by not complying with police. Why? Because it's always easier for the left to turn this into a racial issue and put the blame on police. Okay, so I wanted to give this guy a fair shake, right? So I went and I looked for the video of Jacob Blake being shot. Now, I'm going to show the video, but I'm not going to show the whole thing, okay? The point where I stopped the video that I will show on here is when he grabs the shirt. And right before he fires, I stop it right there. I will put all my links down below. You look at it yourself. It's graphic, so be warned. But we're going to look at this video, and you're going to see a couple of interesting things. Right? First off, we can see him on the other side of the car, right? For whatever reason, we do not know what the situation is. We can only speculate. We shouldn't be speculating because that's not going to do anybody any good. Here's the thing. When you get to this point, you see that he has nothing in his hands. There's nothing dangerous other than his fist. But at the beginning of this clip, you're already seeing the police officers with their guns out. Now here's the thing, and I know it might not be the same here, but in my experience, or what I've been told, is that if you come up to police with your fist, they're allowed to bring the situation and escalate it one level up, right? So they can come off with non-lethal weapons. Now, if you have non-lethal weapons, like a bat or something like that, pipe, I don't know, they are allowed to bring the situation up to lethal. But when you see the video, you don't see him with anything, but they already have their guns out. They have already escalated the situation above non-lethal. And then he starts strolling to the other side of the car. He gets in, and the moment he feels the police grab him, he pushes himself forward. But that's not diving into the car. And before he can even get a look, the police officer that is, before he can even look to see if he's grabbing for anything, he shoots him 7 times. Now I wanted to come up with another article from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, where Justin Nix, an associate professor of criminology and criminal justice, had a thing to say, right? So he talked about it being a 20-second clip of a larger interaction and questions going on in his head. He wants to who called the police and what was relayed to dispatch and what was relayed from dispatch to the officers. And then he says, I can see he's trying to get to his vehicle. Then it happens really quickly. One officer tugs on his shirt, and then you hear the gunshots. Do you see something we don't see on the video? Or did they see something we don't see on the video? If they saw Blake reaching for a gun, he said their use of force might have been justified. Now, okay, let's talk for real. Not all cops are jerks, right? Unfortunately, the way they put themselves, where it's just like this fraternity of we take care of our own, we take care of our brothers and sisters above everything else in some situations, is something we need to fix. Not all police officers are assholes. And very many of them get into situations where it's their life on the line, and I've seen videos, and we can't try to say or act as if police officers, especially the good ones, don't put themselves into situations where they might not return home because they decided not to act on a hunch. They decided to escalate the situation too late. Now, this is not an excuse for lethal force. Like in this situation, this is not an excuse for a lot of these individuals dying on police custody or during the arrest. Not an excuse. But it's important to say, and for me to say specifically, that we can't point the fingers at all the police officers, that our opinions of them are specific to individuals, because that's what we want. We want the police to look at individuals, especially if it's race related, to look at individual regardless of race as a new perspective, right? This individual might look like a criminal who did something bad, but I need to treat this individual as somebody new with a clean slate. That is what we're expecting the police to do. But that is also something the citizenry, needs to do when regarding the police. So we can't go out and call them all pigs and by defund the police, say we need to get rid of the police, which is a ridiculous idea. But in this situation, we have this Knicks guy talking about, did they see something we don't see on the video? My issue with this is, how could they see anything? Jacob was right between the police officer and whatever was on the other side of Jacob. He couldn't have seen anything. And it happened so fast. He shot 7 times before he could discern anything. How could he with Jacob between him and the car? Now, to be fair, he could have very well gone for a gun. Could have. I don't know. We don't know if there was a gun in the car, but that's not the point. The point is, there's no way that the police officer could have known that there was a gun or that he was reaching for a weapon. Just look at the video. It happened too fast. So it's getting late. A couple of things I had to figure out before I can finish this video. I don't know if you hear the crickets. But before I go, I wanted to leave the beginning of a quote from a Walter E. Williams. Legality alone is no guide for a moral people. And that's something we need to continue to strive to become. Because the end of the road is a world where all lives matter. And it is an achievable goal. And perhaps we won't achieve it within our lifetimes, but the work necessary to get there happens in our lifetime. And there's a lot of work to be done. Ledger's still in the red. I'll let you all go now. Wish you the best. Until next time, have a good one. Be safe.